Shabbat Shalom. I know that some of you are here because you received this invitation in the mail. I got it in the mail too. To honor my 10th year at Stephen Wise. Thank you for coming. Should be here anyway. Thank you for those who attended the May dinner and the hundreds of you who sent letters over the last few weeks. For those of us who couldn't be here a few weeks ago, let me reiterate how exhilarating this decade has been for me. I'm grateful to you, very grateful, for granting me the opportunity to do daily what I am driven to do anyway. The Parsha of the week is Ba'alotcha, in the book of Numbers. It's not about gratitude. It's about ingratitude. It's about honoring. It's not about honoring people. It's about complaining about people. Honestly, even more than honoring people, complaining is what Jews do best. We have mastered the art of kvetching better than any other people. Our language is much more colorful, and our style is relentless. It's so ingrained in us that if done the right way, complaining is the ultimate Jewish compliment. We don't really feel that you've honored us or respected us sufficiently unless you complain about something we've done. Take the Bible, for example. Moses had liberated the people from 400 years of slavery. They are free. They are taken care of. All of their needs are provided for. There is shelter, protection, water, and food. And still, at the very first moments of freedom, the Israelites air their grievances to Moses in a way that only the Jews could really appreciate. There's no meat to eat, they whine. We remember the fish we ate for free in Egypt, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. Really? Can't you be grateful for, I don't know, freedom? You're complaining now about the food and comparing it to your Egyptian cuisine, the food of affliction. And did you really eat all that fine food in Egypt, really? Fish, cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. According to modern-day nutritionists, all superfoods. Really? Pharaoh gave you superfoods to eat? What? He was worried about your cholesterol? It's human nature to complain. Jews do it the best, but everyone does it. The Israelites complained. Moses complained. Even God expresses constant dissatisfaction. So I thought it might be interesting, rather than speak about my satisfactions, as is customary on, anniversaries, I thought it would be interesting to take a moment to speak to you about my dissatisfactions. By far, my greatest dissatisfaction in all my years at Stephen Wise has been an inability to impact substantially on the constant movement of Reformed Jews out of synagogues. With all of our many successes, we have grown substantially over the past decade. We could create a whole new congregation with all the people who have left the synagogue in the last 10 years. If they've left for greener pastures, synagogues that are more compatible with their Jewish needs, even though I would still take it personally, nonetheless, I know it's a good thing. It's one of the many advantages of Jewish life in New York City. There's something for everyone here. But to be honest, most people who have left this congregation and all the other congregations in the United States in the past 10 years have left not for another synagogue, They've left for good. They are not coming with us on the journey to the promised land. They have wandered off into the wilderness. Who knows? Perhaps some of them have returned to Egypt. I've met some amazing people on this journey. One of the joys and privileges of being a rabbi in New York City is interacting with such interesting people, some of whom are among the Jewish world's most committed and dedicated souls. Some of them are with us here tonight. But at the same time, within American Jewry, there is a persistent unwillingness to sacrifice, to give something up for the sake of Jewish life, to invest in the Jewish future, to stay connected, or even to do something Jewish at home, anything that will sustain our march to the promised land. The sages pick up on this astonishing verse in the Parsha. Zacharnu et hadaga asher nochal b'mitzrayim chinam. We remember the fish, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic that we ate for free in Egypt. Commentators focused on that one Hebrew word, chinam, free, that didn't need to be in the text. It seems gratuitous. The verse could have simply read, we remember all the food that we ate in Egypt and that we don't have now. Why add that very short three-letter Hebrew word, chinam, free? We remember the food we ate for free in Egypt. Rashi responds that the food was free of mitzvot, free of obligations. Freedom means responsibility. But the Jews of Egypt received everything without Jewish responsibility. Once they received the commandments at Sinai, at the very mountain of Jewish responsibility, they complained. Not so much about the food. If it was about the food, the word free wouldn't have been in the text. They complained about paying for the food with the wages of mitzvot, Jewish responsibilities. They were complaining that it wasn't chinam. It wasn't free, like the good old days in Egypt. They wanted free Judaism. Judaism with no work, Judaism with no investments, Judaism with no discipline, Judaism with no structure, do as you please, no responsibility, no value Judaism. The kind of Judaism they remembered in Egypt. But that's slave Judaism, not the Judaism of the free. And slave Judaism doesn't work under conditions of freedom. It strays. It wanders into the wilderness. It disappears from Jewish life and from Jewish history. That is the most basic challenge of contemporary Judaism. To counter a prevailing perception of no obligations, no responsibilities, no investment Judaism. Chinam. Free Judaism. As for me, I've taken this constant movement out of American synagogues and our own synagogue. I've taken it personally. How can I not take it personally when a couple hundred people have left us during the past decade? No matter what we do, no matter how committed we are, no matter how much time we spend with people in both joyous and trying moments of their lives, no matter how much energy we invest in them, I see our educators here tonight as well, no matter how much love and attention we pour into the children and into the adults, in teaching Torah, in study, no matter what we do, there is a whole congregation of former members who have left when they realized that part of the bargain is mitzvot. It's not chinam. It's not free, and I don't mean free in terms of money necessarily. Free in terms of do something Jewish. As in biblical days, so too in our day. The main challenge is to overcome the spirit of chinam, obligations-free Judaism. It is only what creates in us a sense of obligation that lasts. It's only what creates in us a sense of commitment that endures. Judaism is not meant to be time-saving. It's meant to be time-consuming, and in this, it becomes timeless. We value what we pay for. Investment is the key barometer. If we are unprepared to invest in an endeavor, it's unimportant to us. It's mere discretionary activity, here today and gone tomorrow. It's only what creates in us a sense of obligation that lasts in the long term. Only what lays claim on us can claim us. If we fall into the temptation to consume Judaism as we might consume free food that's being handed out on the streets, we will forever be dissatisfied because we will be hungry again in a few hours. We will consume the most inexpensive Jewish product, Jewish junk food. Little is demanded, and little is invested. And if you bring little to this table, you will take little away. I want you to know how seriously I take the legacy that we have inherited. I think about the founding of this synagogue all the time. I think about Rabbi Wise and the values he bequeathed to us. I think about my responsibility to continue and to sustain that which was started over 100 years ago. And at moments when it appears to me that all the teaching and all the preaching and all the programming and all the efforts don't seem to produce the intended results, I reread the charge that Rabbi Wise gave to newly graduated rabbis next door, here at the York Building at the JIR, at the final ordination ceremony of his life. These were his last words. Remember, as rabbis, you must strengthen the infirm, you must reassure the timid, but you are also teachers in Israel. You must speak frankly, simply, sincerely to those who hear you. When they deserve your praise, praise them. But sometimes it is more important to utter the clearest dispraise of that which is wrong than to speak in terms of praise, even when praise is deserved.